Welcome to the Gay Buddhist Forum, where teachers from all schools of Buddhism offer their perspectives on the Dharma and its application in modern times, especially for LGBTQI audiences. These talks are offered freely to the world and made possible by appreciative listeners. If you would like to support our efforts to share the Dharma with underserved audiences, please visit gaybuddhist.org. There you can donate, find a list of upcoming speakers, or enjoy many hundreds of these recorded talks dating back to 1996.
Let's start by introducing ourselves to each other. Feel free to say your first and last name. Dean Bellaby.
Terry.
I'm Carl Wolf.
Rich.
Dave.
Daniel.
Jim Cave.
Root. Karen. Michael.
Jack Busby.
Anthony.
Robert Chen.
Marvin.
Bill Childs.
Peter. Mark.
Peter.
Bob. Lee Smith.
David.
Howard Deepworth.
Michael. Gary. Vince.
Daniel. Justin.
Larry.
Michael.
George. Stephen. Juan. Jim. Peter.
Lee. Mark.
Jerry. Robert. Steve Carson.
Ray Dyer. David.
Don Winfrey.
Christopher. Jim Stewart.
Norman.
Johnny.
Thomas. Ed.
Paul Shepard. Bob Hamilton.
Richard.
Arthur. Marty.
Is anybody here for the first or second time, or perhaps returning after an absence? Is anyone else? Welcome, you guys. Welcome, all three of you. We have a social half hour after this, around about 12 to 12:30, so maybe those around you can make sure that the people that put their hands up are welcome.
I wonder if there are any more handouts, because do you have any more handouts?
We actually don't, so if those that have one could sort of share, so it's one between two. I think towards the back didn't get so many.
Here's one more for your front back.
You voted on that?
Everybody, is there a group of people who don't really have one? Okay, everybody can mostly see a sheet. Okay. We have fallen into the place where everything is music. It's a quote from Rumi, and today Sean is here to help us experience both the musical and the devotional aspects of that. Sean has practiced meditation, Zen and Vipassana since 93 and yoga since 94. He's been leading meditation and chanting practice since 99 and also teaches yoga and musical instruments. Sean was a monk in Burma in 92 and has recently returned from practice in India. He's a student of Jack Kornfield and Eugene Cash at Spirit Rock, and has led chanting at Eugene's Insight Meditation Community on Sunday nights. He leads Kirtan, which is a Buddhist and Hindi devotional chanting practice, and says that chanting is the practice of love made audible. And we're very fortunate today because we're his first engagement after he's come off 2 months of retreat. Just got home, hasn't done any classes or any students. So sure, welcome.
Thank you, Dean. Thanks to all of you. It's a pleasure to come back here. I underestimated your headstrong numbers in bringing sheets. So besides sharing, I'll also try to keep them fairly simple, and there is the possibility of just we'll be chanting in call and response. So if you can also just hear the line as precisely or imprecisely as you like, and sing it back in the same fashion. So maybe hopefully not too much, what's he saying? Good. So we'll see how that goes.
Sorry, I just found 4 more.
Bravo. Maybe we can pull off a loaves and fishes. Just keep finding 4 more. So, when the Buddha was asked what his path was, when visitors would come to him and want to begin the practice of waking up, begin the practice of learning what he knew, because he radiated knowing and settledness. His heart was clear. People would come to him and say, what can I do to know this that you know? And many of us are familiar with the formal meditation teachings that he gave and the Eightfold Path. Right view, right intention, right mindfulness, action, livelihood, speech, right effort, right concentration. But in many, many of his teachings, he wouldn't start there. And he wouldn't even start at the 4 Noble Truths. A person would come to him in pain and say, what can I do? He wouldn't just, pull out the sword and say, well, the first truth is suffering. That there's work to be done with the heart even before that. Before the heart's even ready to say, okay, I can hang with the first truth of suffering. I can be present with that. That before the heart sometimes is even ready to go there. That there are practices that he taught far more widely in a way, and particularly to lay people as we are. Walking what he called the dusty road of the householder, the complicated path. And he would begin his teachings often by saying that the first quality that the heart needs to cultivate in order to be able to walk the path of peace is the quality of generosity. And that it works on all levels, of course. If we're bound to our material possessions, what we think we own, what we call ours, it's difficult to see with an open heart other people who are in different material circumstance. It's different to have really good neighbors if we're deeply protective and fearful about our stuff. It's very kind of a surface level. And many of us really have work to do on that level, especially in this affluent West. But it works on deeper levels. And many of us in the deeply wounded West may find it difficult to be generous with ourselves on an emotional level, on a spiritual level. And he would teach the practice of metta. Learn how to offer love and kindness to yourself and to those around you. And that's a deep generosity. And he would teach the precepts, the practices of virtue. And he would say, learn how to not cause harm through your actions, through your speech, through the way you manifest your sexuality, through the way you move in the world of intoxication, of material consumption. And he would say learning how to step back from causing harm in these ways is to give a place of freedom, a place of safety to those around you. You actually offer, when you agree in your heart to not kill another living being. No exceptions. He says you offer a realm of infinite security to every living being around same with all the other precepts. So that's another level of generosity he taught. And then as we go deeper into the heart, generosity begins to manifest in really the way that we move in our spiritual practice. So we begin to find, as we sit and meditate, as we try to practice right action in our lives, that it's hard to do so cleanly, clearly. And so he offers then the practice of really simply offering the heart itself, taking on as part of our practice. I'll point my heart toward that which is good. And this will be a foundation for all the other practices, for meditation, for seeing clearly, for acting clearly. It's this basic act of pointing the heart toward what's beautiful, what's good in the world. So devotional practice, as it's arisen in Asia, in Buddhist countries, centers around different prayers and ways of saying, I offer my heart toward what is right, toward what's good. And the traditional formulation for what's right and good is called the triple jewel, the three gems of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. It's a way of saying the things that really will become a refuge for me on this dusty path are my teachers, my spiritual friends. This is what Buddha means. One level of what Buddha means. The ones who show the way. These are a gem in the world. So I take refuge in Buddha. Dharma are the teachings themselves, the words, actions, practices that point the way toward understanding what's true. And without them, it's much harder to find freedom. It's much harder to stumble across it alone, ourselves, with no guidance. So there's Buddha and there's Dharma. Teach me how to be free. How to wake up. And then third, and certainly not last, is Sangha, what we practice when we come to sit together, when we're in discussion together, and what we'll practice joining our voices together, is that it's very difficult, again, to do it alone. Unfortunately, there's no need to do it alone. Sangha is community, or the group of noble ones, traditionally, who have taken themselves to the end of suffering and offer their friendship, their guidance, their companionship along the path. So that means each of us relying on each of the rest of us as we practice. So most of the traditional Buddhist chants for this first opening of the heart are chants to these three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha in different ways. So I'd like us to practice, to experiment, singing together a few traditional chants and mantras that point toward these qualities, that open the breath energy in the body, that allow us to hear each other, to hear each other's voices, and celebrate the jewel of Sangha even in just that way. It's not important that you sing well. So any judgment or comparing that arises in the mind is just to be seen clearly. Doesn't do anyone any good. So you drop it. That's all. Keep singing. If the Pali words, Pali and Sanskrit, old languages nobody speaks anymore, if they start to feel like a burden, like there's more brain than heart going on, just sing the syllable ah. It's the root syllable of the Sanskrit language. All the other mantras collapse down into ah. So there's no need to sing anything else. After we sing for a while, trading phrases. I'll sing a phrase once and then we'll all sing it together. And we'll just go back and forth in that way. We'll sit in silence for another couple of minutes. We'll begin by honoring the heart itself. On the backside of the sheet where it says mantras, simple mantra all over the Buddhist world loved. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om, the jewel, rests in the lotus. The jewel of compassion rests in the lotus of the heart. So you can bring your attention into the heart center. Just feel your body sitting here. Don't think too much about it.
Om
forms, its qualities. We'll just go line by line. Try to keep it simple. It starts Iti So Bhagavan Araham Sama Sambuddho. Iti So Bhagavan Araham Sama Sambuddho. Iti So Blessed One, awakened, fully enlightened. Iti So Bhagavan Araham Sama Sambuddho. Iti So Bhagavan Araham Sama Sambuddho. Just feel here is a perfected one. So Bhagavan Araham Sama Sambuddho. Iti So Bhagavan Araham Sama Sambuddho. It's possible to awaken. Iti So Bhagavan Araham Sama Sambuddho. Sarati Anutaro Blessed One, accomplished and fully awakened, consummate in knowledge and conduct, one who has gone the good way, Sugato, one who has gone the good way, Lokavidu, knower of worlds, Amnutaro Purisat Amma Sarati, unexcelled teacher of those who can be taught, of those who are available for teaching. None excel this one. Sata Deva Manusanam, teacher of gods and humans. Buddho Bhagavati, awake, a blessed one. We honor the Buddha, we honor our teachers, we honor those who have moved their hearts to clarity through their own effort, through their own teachers, through Sangha, through Dhamma, through the mysterious grace of unfolding. Even though in the Buddhist tradition, the gods that we speak of, teacher of gods and humans, aren't really considered to be like God in the Western sense. They're sort of considered beings with incredibly long, pleasurable lifespans and a lot of power, but who otherwise aren't different from us, in that they're still subject to cause and effect. They're still subject to karma. They're still subject to reaping the effects of their actions. And they're not gods permanently. Eventually they die in the heaven realms after very long lives and are reborn here or in other realms. Any of us in this room could have been reborn as a human from the God realm. And on a subtler way, all of the realms can be experienced in human life. We all know about the beautiful people who seem flawless, who seem to be living in a God realm. They too are subject to cause and effect. They haven't escaped the wheel of samsara, same as us. But the Buddhist teaching does, particularly in later turnings of the wheel, offer us these beings, some beings that we can take refuge in. Variations on Buddha. So that when we go for refuge, when as humans we need a refuge in a higher power, which we sometimes do, the Buddhist tradition offers us beings called bodhisattvas, who kind of flow between the divine realms and the human realms, with the power to help us when we need help. And one of these that I resonate with most deeply, and here she is over on the west altar. There's a few different ones there actually, with a large wooden one and the tanka are of a bodhisattva known as Kuan Yin. We can call her the goddess of compassion. Honoring her has been deeply helpful in my path. You don't have to believe that beings like that exist or not. They can help you whether you believe in them or not. We'll chant Kuan Yin's mantra. Namo Kuan Yin Bosa. That's all it is. It's on the back, but that's all it is. Namo Kuan Yin Bosa. It means I bow to Kuan Shu Yin, the one who hears the cries of the world. This is her supernatural power, is listening. Kuan Yin actually literally means the one who hears. And Kuan Shu Yin is the one who hears the crying of the world. So, you cry her name, she hears it. It works. We'll chant to her. Namo Kuan Yin Bosa, Mother of Compassion. Open our hearts. for ourselves, and where we know compassion for those around us, and where we can't find compassion for ourselves, love for ourselves. In the darkest time, may help come. May help come from wherever. May we trust that help will come from somewhere. Let's sit in silence for a couple of minutes. May there be every good blessing. May the Devas protect you. Through the power of all the Buddhas, may you forever be well. May there be every good blessing. May the Devas protect you. Through the power of the Dharma, may you forever be well. May there be every good blessing. May the Devas protect you. Through the power of all the Sangha, may you forever be well. Sabbe Satta Sukhita Hantu. May all beings in all realms be happy. May all beings be safe from harm. May all beings awaken fully. Not one left behind. Thank you all so much. I really wish we could chant for another hour. There's a lot of good things to pray to out there. But it's really a pleasure to hear your voices and just feel you here. It's great to come here. It's my first post-monastic adventure. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can keep the chant sheets. Anyone who wants them can have them, or you can bring them up here, and I'm here for coming and saying hi to, if you want. And I do other things around, so there's that as well. Come over to my house and sing all night.
Do you perhaps have a couple of minutes to share about your recent retreat experience?
Sure.
You can take a couple. It'll
Sure.
be interesting for everybody.
Sure. We have a few minutes. There's all sorts of things we could do. I've often, in the past several years, practiced retreat up at Spirit Rock, and I imagine some of you have been up there as well, perhaps. This retreat I just went on was a more traditional Thai forest-style retreat at a monastery outside of San Diego with a teacher named Jeffrey DeGraff. He's a monk named Thanisaro Bhikkhu, or Ajahn Thanisaro. And he teaches a very clear form of meditation practice using breath, awareness of the breath, and particularly awareness of subtle breath energy in the whole body, and building that subtle breath energy into a very pleasurable concentration state. It's a wonderful practice. He's a great, great teacher of it. And a wonderful contradiction, because he himself is kind of like an engineer. He's super dry. You know, when he teaches metta, he says like, begin with thoughts of goodwill. For yourself and for others. Now, focus on the breath. You know, it's really like, whew, crisp. But then what he's asking you to do is cultivate the breath energy in the body so that pleasure, radiant, like real, physical, psycho-energetic pleasure fills your body. Because when the mind gets to rest with pleasure like that, why would it go running out after other things? And it's the beginning of learning to let go of things that don't serve us, of things that we think will bring us happiness. His whole teaching is about like, everybody wants happiness. Mostly we do the wrong things to get it. So he says, start doing something that makes you really happy, that has no bad side effects at all. And that in the Buddhist tradition, traditionally that's concentration practice. Still the mind. Feels really good to not be thinking all the time about your stuff. And you start to rest in that happiness. It's going to be a lot less tempting to go out and misuse food, misuse intoxicants, misuse our actions with other people in relationship, to misuse our bodies and mistreat ourselves and the earth. Why would you do that when you have a beautiful place to rest right here that's not dependent on outside circumstances? So his teaching really points toward that. I got to stay there, living on a platform in an avocado orchard for 7 weeks, practicing that, with a very strange interruption in the middle. The monastery was evacuated from the San Diego fires, and we spent 5 days at the house of a supporter in Laguna Beach. Rough. It's a whole other thing. We walked on the beach. Local Thai restaurants sent up food for free, for the monks and for us. And and I exchanged business cards with an LA movie producer who might be interested. And you never know what's going to happen on retreat. So that was my recent snapshot of recent retreat. I'm happy to be back. I love it here. LA, San Diego, weird cities. A friend of mine, some of you may know Diana Winston, teacher up at Spirit Rock. She's now the head of the Mindfulness and Education Center at UCLA. And she said to me, she's like, oh, you want to teach some Dharma? Huh? Come down to LA. We need teachers. And I was like, oh, that would be an austerity practice. It would be fun, But anyway, so I'm really glad to be back here. I love this area, this place, these people. So, I look forward to saying hi to a few of you and maybe see you at other events, yoga, Dharma, chanting events around East Bay, San Francisco as well. And and then maybe chanting with you again. It'd be really a pleasure.
And you're welcome to join us afterwards if you have time.
Wonderful. I'll stick around for a few minutes.
Yeah, should there be lots of questions? Do we have any announcements?
Yes. Well, It's good timing with your talk. There's going to be a 3-night retreat up at Saratoga Springs, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender retreat, a mixed retreat. Martin Luther King weekend. That's January 18th, 19th, and 20th. So it's going to be 3 nights. A couple of years ago, GBF had a retreat up there. January, it'll be 2 years, and it was a mixed retreat then. It was all men, though, but it was mixed with the GBF and the Billy Club. This one is going to be more of a traditional Vipassana retreat by 2 gay teachers in training with Jack Kornfield, Larry Yang, and Anushka Fernandopoul. Really wonderful people, and all the food is going to be included, and it'll be 3 nights of sangha and meditation and dharma talks and walking and question and answers and movement. So anybody who is interested in deepening their practice, it's sponsored by the Monday night sitting group at the Gay Center, but it's going to be open to everyone. I brought some flyers. There's some out back, and I'll put it on the website as well. So Martin Luther King weekend up at Saratoga Springs, a couple hours north of here.
Thanks, Cal. Anyone else?
Yeah, is it appropriate now for me to ask if someone here last week walked out in my shoes? So if you're here this week, you wear a size 13. These were New Balance walking shoes. My shoes are 15, and I hope you've enjoyed them. I won't be sticking around for very long, so if you're here, just grab me and we'll...
You never know, man, until you've walked a mile. So you might have a new friend.
Darren. For anyone who's interested in practicing meditation on Tuesday nights, there's a group of us that meet in my spacious living room at Fulton and Baker Street from 7:30 to 8:30. So if you want more details, just come talk to me.
And just to mention, because it connects to today, people who like chanting, somebody named Joy Utal is going to be at Spirit Rock the evening of Sunday, December 9th. It may be sold out already, but gets something like 500 people in this amazing soaring meditation chamber with lighted candles and no other light, chanting together, and it's Hindu ecstatic chant, and it's an amazing experience.
I'm your host for today, and there'll be tea and cookies, including the never popular white cheddar pretzels in the box I grabbed from Costco. And I'll go around the Dana bowl. Giving Dana is not obligatory whatsoever, but if you can, be very generous. There's a sign-up sheet for new people. Are there any new people here today? Okay, there's a sign-up sheet there if you want to get on the email list. And wash your cups and throw away your Kleenex and stuff like that.
Hi, I'm Jack. This is about the newsletter. I feel really fortunate to be here most weeks. It's a real great opportunity, but there are a lot of people who can't, and either they're in places like Bulgaria, one of our newsletter recipients, or else they're incarcerated in prison. There's about 250 guys that we send newsletters to and it's a connection to. And so every other month we do that, and today is the day that we can mail out. I'm glad to see so many people are here on Thanksgiving weekend. I was afraid that we might have fewer. So if 8 to 10 guys can stay after our sort of tea and cookies period, we can fold, staple, label, stamp, and send out newsletters. There are also over 100 or so newsletters that go out to the regular us, the non-prisoner people. It's also available for anybody who's interested on the website, gaybuddhist.org. So appreciate people bunching up in about 20 minutes out there. Thank you.
This is a little bit tangential, but there is a autobiographical men's writing group that meets twice a month in the East Bay. And we're looking for some new members, so if anybody's interested, talk to me afterwards.
And next week, the Dharma will come to us from a Dharma duo. So it's two members from the Sangha that get up and share their life stories and what's alive for them. And we have Tom Bruein and Jim Christrip. So let's close, gather in a circle for our dedication of merit.
Being invited to offer the merit of our practice together today. So I'll invite each of us in our hearts, in the lotus of our hearts, to make an intention or a direction where we want to send some blessing today to an individual person that we know could use some blessing. It can be yourself, or a friend, or someone you don't know, or a class of people, a kind of people, or animals, or the planet, or all beings. Wherever you feel you would throw some flowers this morning. And I'll say the dedication of merit chant in Pali, while we each give away the blessings that arise from practice. This is another aspect of subtle generosity in this practice, with the great paradox that the more blessing we give away, the more blessing springs up in our own hearts. So you can never empty yourself of blessing. More just arises magically. So sending our blessings out in each of our hearts. Sabbe sata sadahantu awera sukha jivino katam punya phalam mayam sabbe bhagi bhavantute. May all beings live happily, always free from animosity. May all beings share in the blessings springing from the good I have done.
Thank you for listening to the Gay Buddhist Forum. If you would like to hear several new talks per month and be notified of upcoming speakers so you can participate live, please subscribe to this podcast, like us on Facebook, and join our mailing list by visiting gaybuddhist.org.